Hey, well, it is 6 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and get this meeting started. This is January 3rd, 2023. A new year, and this is gonna be a meeting of the Lake Stevens City Council. We're meeting down here at the Mill, downtown beautiful Lake Stevens. And this is also going to be on Zoom live, and then will be later posted on our YouTube channel. So with that, I would ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the first item on the agenda tonight is to in our last meeting, the council selected a new council member to replace council member Frederick. And we did an actual swearing in at that time, but we wanted to do a ceremonial swearing in tonight so that his family could be here, enjoy the moment, and get some pictures and all that good stuff for prosperity. Posterity. So with that, Ryan, would you meet me out here in the middle and we'll swear you in again? And you want to have your wife, kids come up with you, whatever you like to do. It's your moment.
So cute.
You can. Everyone's seen this one. Grayson, Madison, and Michelle. Perfect. Love having family here. So important. As we all know, Lake Stevens is full of families and great people, and it's really the basis of who we are as a city. So it's great having family here. So yeah. So if you would raise your right hand from the right. I, Ryan Donahue, do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support the Constitution. And laws of the United States. And the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington. And that I will faithfully and impartially. Perform and discharge the duties. Of the office. Of City of Lake Stevens Council Position number 3. For a midterm vacancy. According to the law and the best of my ability. Great. Let's say a few words.
Can you help me say something? I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to my now fellow council members, and as I mentioned earlier, really, I was selected by the council. I wasn't voted in, so I will do my best to maintain the position of Councilmember Frederick and carry on in the same way he would have, and do my best to serve all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. All right. Good stuff. So with that, one of the reasons why we wanted to do the oath of office so that we could count you in as on the roll call. So Clerk Chellen, can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Dachi,
Present.
Councilmember Peter Shagan,
Present.
Councilmember Donahue,
Present.
Councilmember Dickinson,
Present.
Councilmember Jorstad, present, Councilmember Ewing,
Present.
Councilmember Tajik.
Present.
Great. And present, quick an approval of the agenda.
Yes, I did have a request prior to the meeting to add council business to the agenda. If there is a second for that.
Move to add council business to the agenda.
Okay, any
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We've added council business to the agenda, and there is one, Kelly, if you could speak to the revision that you provided to council, but if you could provide the public the input that you provided us.
Sure. So there's a revision sheet in front of all of you, mayor and council, for the board and commission reappointments tonight. On the consent agenda, Andy Powers, who's been a longtime library board member, would like to stay on the board, and he just got a hold of me this morning. So I was hoping to also add him tonight as a reappointment. So the revision is in front of you if you have any questions.
And Council President, where did you want to do the council business?
If we can do it a 5A.
5A, okay.
Move to approve the agenda with the revision as described by Clerk Schellen.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mayor, you have an agenda.
Excellent, great. Do you want to lead the council business?
Yes, please. Councilmember Tadget,
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Jorstad.
Thank you. I'd just like to provide a quick update around the health district in advance of our commission and board reappointments. So the Snohomish Health District is no longer. It is now the Department of Public Health within the Snohomish County government. The board structure is now different. The board members will be appointed by Snohomish County cities at their next meeting. There will be two openings, one for a large, I think it's one for a medium city representative and one for a small city representative. So those board positions will now be filled by that body versus every city filling their own position, and that is dictated in our CW based on when boards are county government involved in county government versus their own set aside districts. The executive committee of the district is still operating to sort of wind down the work of the health district. So there are still some final decisions that have to be made. We had to meet last week to sign a lease between the county and the Rucker building, for example. There are 5 members of the executive committee. I'm one of 5. That committee, the estimate is that they may need to meet 2 to 5 more times, again, to wind up the work of the health district. And then that executive committee will be dissolved. Happy to answer any questions. It's a little.
So if you're only going to have a representative from each large, medium and small cities. So is there's like subcommittees? So if we're not the person on it, how do we get represented?
Cities are no longer have individual city representation.
Right.
So what I can do is I can pull up the RCW and show the representation of the board. It's a shift away from elected officials to community members, physicians, people who have received services from public health. And there are 2 or 3 other designations. It's a smaller board, and it's the
I might be able to bring
role
in,
is different.
I might be able to bring a little bit of answer to that. I'm on the executive committee for Snohomish County Cities. The way that happens is that the person that would be like a medium city, I'm not quite sure if we've gone to a large city at Snohomish County Cities yet or not. We probably should, because the 4th largest city in the county. But what that does is it's on that person that gets elected to that position by their peers at Snohomish County Cities to reach out to the other cities and let them know what's going on. Vice versa, it's up to the represented cities or that person to be in contact with them and let them know what your concerns are, what our concerns are. That doesn't happen a lot in different things that we're represented by for the Snohomish County Cities. However, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I guess we can get some more input as we do boards and commissions liaison stuff at the end of the meeting.
And I'll find the RCW and get just some written information and make sure I'll send it to Clerk Schellen to send out to council.
Yeah, I appreciate the mayor's input there as far as making sure that we, to the extent possible, we have adequate representation for our city. Anything else, Councilmember
No,
Dorota?
thank you. That's
Okay.
it.
Councilmember Dickinson,
Nothing. I played since I saw you last. I've been playing, so sorry, I didn't go to any meetings. We didn't have any meetings, so just so you know.
and I believe it's the first time that Mary has been the last council member present to show up for a meeting, so we should note that for the record.
She was playing.
Yes, she's normally one of the first, so. Councilmember Donahue.
This may come as a surprise, but I have nothing to report.
All right, Councilmember Peter Shagan.
Yes, just hopefully a round of applause to the police department today. I understand that they caught the porch bandit that was stealing packages throughout the city. And if anybody pays attention to Facebook, it was quite active. So lots of reports. So thank you to the police department. The other thing I just wanted to report just briefly on the Historical Society, this fall was a great response for them with the Grimm House over here. The Harvest Market, they had a great response for Halloween. And then, of course, the Santa photos that they successfully did again this year. Hopefully, they're looking for a bigger venue because of the demand for that. But I just wanted to report that things are going good for the Historical Society and they had a great fall. Looking forward to this spring and summer. So.
All right, Councilmember Daughtry.
I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Right, and I guess I will just say that I had a chance to meet with our new council member Donahue to kind of provide some background as far as what the council been working on. I know he's been paying attention and been to many of the council meetings, so just wanted to answer some questions that he had. So we met, was it last week? So appreciate him making himself available to kind of get brought up to speed on things with the council. All right, Mayor.
Things have been pleasantly kind of quiet over the last couple of weeks with the holidays, which is great. We did over the holidays get word after the omnibus bill was passed by the federal delegation that we will be receiving our grant ask for federal funds to create a roundabout at 20th and Main, 20th Street Northeast in Maine. It's $2.5 million. We're putting together what that looks like so that we can do a public announcement on it. We just want to make sure we are ahead of any questions before we do an official city announcement of that grant. I do want to thank Representative Del Bene for her leadership and hard work on making sure that that was in that omnibus bill. That's all I have.
Right. All right, our next we're up for election of council president and vice president. So historically we've done in the past is started with the president and then gone to vice president. So any I guess anyone interested, if you are interested, if you could just state your interest briefly, and then we'll have discussion and then we can take a vote on that. So open the floor to any of the council members, including you, Ryan, that may have interest in the position of council president.
Well, I would be interested in pursuing the role of council president for 2023.
Okay. So I'm open to continuing in that capacity. I've enjoyed serving this past year in that capacity. So any, I guess, Angie, would you like to just share a few thoughts on your interest?
Sure, yeah, thank you. I think going into my 4th year on the council, I feel like I've learned a lot. I think this last year has been especially beneficial, getting to begin to meet in person again and sort of build upon relationships, both with the council, the mayor, with our city departments. I think the council president position would allow me to build upon those relationships to represent the council, to help coalesce our needs and be a strong voice in our city. I think that I have good communication skills, I'm open, I'm not easily ruffled, so I'm able to see both sides and have conversations with folks that may not necessarily agree with me, and I'm pretty solutions focused, so my goal really is to meet with folks and help come to consensus and honestly help move our city forward in a way that works best for our citizens, so I look forward to the opportunity. Thanks.
All right. So I share several of things that Angie shared with the council. A couple things I think that I appreciated serving with the city staff and with the council as far as moving forward behind the scenes. The Transportation Betterment District, I think the city staff and the mayor and I got to meet with our consultant over the series of many months to kind of work to put that to the voters and to present a message that resonated with the voters. And ultimately, while it wasn't an overwhelming success, it did provide success for our community for our sidewalks and safe roadways. So I'm open to supporting that or to continue on the council. But like Angie, I want what's best for the city and open to whatever direction the council wants to go with their desire. So if we have a motion or we need a motion in a second, and then we can vote on that one. Yeah, we'll take a vote.
Steve, what's the motion?
No, we need a motion for someone to nominate someone to be council president for the year 2023.
Oh, so you want a nomination?
Nomination, motion,
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, okay.
I make a motion that we go forward with this so we can nominate a president.
So do you have
Council.
you can nominate a name. We're going
Oh,
forward
all
with it.
right,
So if
then,
you'd like
okay.
to nominate.
I would like to nominate Angie, Councilmember Jorstad, for this position. Her work and her services to our community, as well as her clarity and comments during meetings, just always impressed me. And she has a thoughtful approach to issues. And I would nominate her just because a change is always good. And before I say one more word, I want to thank you for your service also.
Thank you.
So I would like to see a change. Let's look at things a little differently and give Councilmember Jorstad the opportunity to learn more about how to be in this. And she's really learning a lot. So why stop now?
All right. Kelly, if we could get a roll call vote.
So I think we need a second
Oh,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
nomination.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I'll second the nomination.
All right, so I have a motion, a second. So
Want to
Kelly,
proceed to a vote or look for other nominations?
Yeah, let's look for other nominations. That way then you have an election, or maybe you don't have an election. If no one nominates a second person.
we still have to vote on it.
Yeah, we do, but
Yeah,
it's usually nominations first.
but if we have two nominations, then we know we have to do an election versus just voting on the nomination.
So how does the voting work then?
You can't vote on two people. So you
Yeah.
vote on the person. So it's an up or down vote. On the one that's on the floor on the nominate on the motion. And then if it passes, then there's no more. If it fails, then
So if Angie gets 7 votes, she's the president,
if she gets 4 votes, she's the president.
but there's no one running against her.
But she still has to be, we still have to vote.
I'll make it interesting. I nominate former council president Ewing to serve as president once again in 23.
Is there a second?
I guess I will second that.
Okay. So yes.
So how do we vote?
So now I think what we can either do a hands up, hands down for each of the two, or you can do a paper vote. Depends on what you guys want to do.
Let's just do hands up, hands down.
Okay,
Seems easy, simple.
Sid, since you're one of the candidates, I'll run this.
That's,
I don't remember being this difficult.
no.
We haven't done it.
In the past, what we did is we had an up and down vote. And then if that one didn't pass, then we moved on to the next person. But that's, our council procedures don't spell out specifically how that plays out.
Okay, so we're all okay if I call a hands up vote for the two candidates? Yes, no, maybe so?
The moment of truth.
Okay, all right. So are there any other nominations on the floor for council president? Okay, so before you have two great candidates, all those in favor of Councilmember Georgetown, raise your hand.
Unanimous? All right.
All right, well, that was 7.
It's gonna be great for
It
you.
was
too,
either
isn't it?
7061.
I won't be surprised if there's people, all those in favor of Councilmember Ewing. What? No one? Oh my goodness. You know,
All right.
Want to involve people in the audience or what?
I absolutely love
So,
this job.
Angie, it's now you're, we're doing the vice president, so it's you're now council president, so you're.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you all for your support, much appreciated. Moving on to vice president elections. Are there any nominations for vice president, vice chair of the council?
Are we nominating ourselves?
Or folks that want to throw their hat in the ring? Absolutely.
Okay, I'll nominate myself.
I would be happy to serve as vice president to President Georgetown.
One
there a
second,
second?
do we have a second on,
Are we doing motion? Yes.
Yeah. we'll need it. We've got a nomination, self-nomination. Do we have a second on that nomination?
I'll second the nomination.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? For council vice president? Did you want to self-nominate?
I'm not gonna self-nominate.
Okay. Okay, hearing no other nominations, we have a default vice president and council member Peterson. Excellent,
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
great. That'll be great, president, and vice president for the year 2023. And I do want to give appreciation to you, Steve. You've done great work this week or year, not just this week. But
If I get 1 out of 52, that's.
the entire year, yeah, just,
I'm really gonna watch the.
you did a great job just this week too. All right, let's move forward.
All right, so we got,
Okay, so our next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. There should be a lot after that. So with that, we do citizens' comments in 2 forms. We allow for citizens' comments from anyone online, and we ask for you to raise your digital hand to be acknowledged, and then we'll bring you into the panel to provide your citizens' comments. And then we also do citizens' comments from the crowd here in person, and we ask for a green sheet. I've got one so far. So if you would like to provide citizens' comments, make sure you do a green sheet and get it to me really quick. We provide 3 minutes to address the council on any matter. Is there anyone online who wishes to provide
I
council?
do not see any hands online. Again, if you're on Zoom, please raise your digital hand so that we can call on you.
See none?
I'm
Okay,
assuming
let's
nobody.
move forward. And our in-person is Matt Tabor. Matt, if you could approach the podium for me, name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Matt Tabor. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce. My address is 9501 17th Place Northeast, Lake Stevens. I'm here on behalf of the Chamber this evening. I've lost my paper. Don't start my 3 minutes yet. Here it is. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Gailey, council members and city staff and fellow citizens. I want to first say I hope we all had a wonderful holiday season and wish you all the best for a happy and prosperous new year from the Lake Stevens Chamber. I would also like to say welcome in to the new council member Ryan Donahue. I'm look forward to meeting you and working with you as well. Thank you. I want to take a moment also to thank Mayor Gailey, the staff here of Lake Stevens and the entire council for their partnership to the last 2 years. Helping our businesses through the pandemic was no small feat, and the Lake Stevens community has managed to do so and grow in the process. Local government support should not be taken for granted, and I, for one, am thankful for your vision that has brought us through these past few years to a place that I believe the Lake Stevens business community is set to thrive in for years to come. The main reason I'm here this evening, however, is to invite the council, the mayor, and the city staff to join us for our upcoming community dinner event on January 28th. Our dinner and a show is an opportunity to come together as a community to enjoy a wonderful meal with our neighbors, laugh at and with some wonderful entertainers, and celebrate our Lake Stevens Business of the Year and our Greater Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce Member of the Year. We're excited to return to our annual dinner gala and would hope you could find time in your busy schedules to join us. I have informational flyers here, or you can visit our website at lakestevenschamber.com for all the information. Again, thank you for your time this evening and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work with the chamber.
Yeah.
I was able to do a ribbon cutting with Matt a couple weeks ago at the newish. What was it? Beveling up there, up in Pioneer area. Cool. So with that, other citizens' comments? Oh, great. We've got opportunity to swear in a new police officer. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and community. It's my privilege to be here tonight to introduce back to you Officer Matthew Walters. Matthew was hired by us in June, went to the academy sooner than we thought, and I was able to graduate December 21st with top honors in physical fitness, of course. I'm very proud of Matthew and his work at the academy. It's a 4-month process that he had to be away from his family. So he's going to start his FTO. He's going to be with Officer Holland first, going through that all the way to the end in April. He'll be a solo officer by the time he completes that. So we're excited to have him here tonight to do a pinning and the oath of office. Mayor, if you can come forward.
Yeah,
Matthew, come on up and I'll have you introduce your family that's here with you first. So go ahead and introduce your family.
This is my girlfriend Nicole with my daughter Rosalie, my brother Raymond, my mom Charlotte, and my dad Ray.
All right. And you said your dad's going to pin on your badge tonight and stab you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go do it. Okay, come on up here, Lee. Yep. And dad do that first. We want to get the blood out.
All right, Matt, go ahead and raise your right hand. I, Matthew Walters.
I'm Matthew Walters.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens,
the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens,
and the mission and regulations
and the national regulations
of the Lake Stevens Police Department,
of the Lake Stevens Police Department,
and I will faithfully and impartially perform
and I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties
and discharge the duties
of a Lake Stevens police officer
of the Lake Stevens Police Officer
according to law and to the best of my ability.
according to law and the best of my abilities.
There you go.
As he's going around to do the gauntlet, I'm just going to give you an update. We fortunately got Matthew to graduate on December 21st, but we lost another officer who separated his employment with us on December 26th. So we had one, we lose one, we're evened out. So I'm just glad to have Matthew here back at home. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah. Well, great to see Matt here. Great to see your family here as well. Having done that oath a couple of times myself. It's you've got a great career ahead of you with great people to work with, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
All right, let's move forward. Can we get a motion to pass the consent agenda, please?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second,
I've got a motion to pass the consent agenda and a second. Do we have any discussion on the?
Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. I heard Councilor, oh, okay, first. Yeah.
Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor
aye.
and any opposed? Motion passes. Let's move forward to discussion item 10A. City Council and Planning Commission Joint Workshop with Russ Wright. And I would like to recognize the Planning Commission who is here with us all tonight with their bright shiny faces. Great to see everybody. And I know I personally would like to thank each of you for your work. I know this last year was a taxing year on your thoughts and on your wisdom. And I just want to let you know that we do appreciate your work and all that you were able to get done this year. We couldn't do it without you. And with that, let's go with Russ.
Okay, Russ Wright, Community Development Director for the city. As the mayor said, we'd like to welcome the Planning Commission tonight. In a little while, I'll have them introduce themselves to the council if you don't know them, and to the audience. We do a lot of work together, and every year, one of the things we do is come to the council to have this joint meeting, go over some of the accomplishments from the prior year and set the work agenda for the current year. So some of the things that the Planning Commission worked on in 2022 included the comprehensive plan docket with concurrent rezones. They looked at an inventory of the Shoreline Master Program and some small updates. They've been briefed on the Lake Stevens Industrial Plan. They've processed a stormwater management manual code change that went to the council. They've looked at short-term rentals, storage facilities, and are working on a code cleanup. And along with that, the staff briefs the Planning Commission on several of the topics that we also brief council on. Some of the work we're doing with Snohomish County tomorrow, our buildable lands reports, our growth targets, and those types of things. We also shared some of our economic development initiatives with the Planning Commission in 2022. So as we move forward, we do have a work program in front of you. It includes the short-term rentals that will be moving forward. We'll have some coordinated review with the new Parks Department to look at some of the changes that occur in Chapter 14 and other codes that affect parks. We're going to be continuing with our code cleanup and our process code review. We have our international code update. So that's your building and fire codes. They're updated every couple of years. As time allows, we'll look at our mixed use regulations. We do need to work on our solicitor license update. That's when we have solicitors, door-to-door salesmen. That process is antiquated, and the process we have doesn't work with some of the other requirements that the police department has. So we want to get that updated. And then as we proceed with some of our long range plans, we'll have some implementation tasks such as any code updates for our industrial analysis, any updates from our housing action plan, and as we move into our climate action plan, and then as time allows, again, our street and sidewalks code. And then we're also going to be running our 2023 comprehensive plan docket. We're hoping that that's fairly light this year and that we just can keep our capital plan updated. Past that, we'll be starting our 2024 periodic comp plan update, which should be the focus for my team and the Planning Commission, going through each element of our comprehensive plan to make sure that it's consistent with changes to state law and the Puget Sound Regional Council Vision 2050 document and countywide planning policies. With that, I will hand it off to the Planning Commission. I'll start with Chair Welch and have them introduce themselves, and then we're open for a general conversation between the two boards and any discussion on the proposed work program that's in the table as your attachment.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, do we have another mic we can put up here?
Yes.
Yeah. No, offshore, what do you call it? Onshore karaoke? Off the boat?
Good. Thank you, Russ. It's been an honor to be the 2022, when we get the years right now. Commission president. It's been great to work with all these commissioners. And I'm gonna go ahead and just real quick, just kick off, and let them introduce themselves. I'll start with our vice president, Mike Dorr.
Hey, dude, Mike Dorr, Vice President. Connor Davis, Commissioner.
Janice Hexford. Jennifer Davis. Linda Holt.
That's our commissioners, and we are, of course, missing Commissioner Cronin, or I guess now former Commissioner Cronin, who's chose not to renew. I'll just say his efforts and years on the commission have been invaluable. His experience as a builder and as a lifelong resident of Lake Stevens has been absolutely advice that we could not have gone without, and it's we're going to miss him on this commission. He's definitely a voice we like to have, and I wish him the best, and I'm glad he was able to serve for us. And I don't know if it's open up to comments or questions.
Anything for the planning commission?
Just thank you very much. Appreciate your work and you speak strong and I listen to everything you say. You really are an amazing group of people. And who was it who always said you never get paid? I'm trying to remember who always said that. We don't get paid.
I'll say it looks like you guys have a busy year last year, but it looks like there's a lot of stuff that was carrying over to this year. So I don't envy you on your task of doing what we've got this year, and hopefully a lot of stuff will come off your plate real easy this year as compared to last. So, yeah.
I guess to follow up on that, I'm curious, looking at the work plan, it is a little daunting sitting in this seat. Looks like a lot of work. Is there anything that you all see as being sort of the main thing that you want to accomplish this year? Is there anything on the work plan that you feel is higher priority than anything else, or is it all fairly equal, that your goal is to really get through everything that's there?
You guys should try to do it in the first quarter, and that would be right. So much easier.
Commissioner, you got any questions?
I would just say for my part, we tend to bite off a lot with these agendas for the year. Sometimes we've been carrying some things over, but it's not for lack of trying. So these are all critical things for the city, things that we want to see done and done right. And whether it's one meeting or more often 2 meetings per month, we'll endeavor to get it done. And I want to, as long as I'm talking, express my thanks to Russ and his team for making sure that we have the information that we need as a commission to get the decisions made, and the recommendations on the council.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm in my final year of my 3rd term as a county commissioner, and it's been such an interesting 11 years. And when I was very brand new, we were working on the 20th Street sub-area plan and then the Lake Stevens Center area. And so for me, and I love that process. So for me, the project that is probably at the forefront of my mind is the Hartford work that we'll do this year. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's the top project that we have in front of us. And I just wanted to also second Chair Roach's comments about Commissioner Cronin. He's amazing to have. I'm very sad to see him go. And also the staff is amazing. And I'm sad to see Planner Levitin move on. So yeah.
I'll say, no, everything's pretty much, this is definitely a plan that we can do. It's very workable. I would definitely agree that the industrial update center should be done. I know there's a lot of challenges. We can do as much updating as we want, but I know don't mean to poke a bear, but Councilmember Tagman had a great point when you all discussed it. There's a lot of infrastructure that's not planned out properly down there, so hopefully the input from the group that's working on this will hopefully, they say bind the divide between the city and the infrastructure that's needed down there, and maybe give a little more, I guess, validity and power to get some changes down there to allow more development in that area, which we're obviously missing some key features down there. And I think that's going to be very important. And I think for the citizens, I mean, for me, I know it might sound minor, but I think the solicitor licensing update is something I really want us to get done sooner rather than later. I don't know about y'all, but I get a lot of people knocking on my door who do not have a business license in our city and don't have it. So is this kind of, as you have somebody steal from our porches on a regular basis, having people just soliciting at the door without the proper licensing, as all of our other businesses in Lake Stevens have, and all the other stuff is always something I think is a concern from my neighbors in my housing development. And I think it's something important that I think we should be able to knock out pretty easily.
If I may, this is Janice. I am in my first day, I guess, of my 4th term. Although I've not been reappointed yet, and the mayor may choose not to reappoint me.
You just were tonight.
Oh, I think I said, of
After
course.
my comments. My comments are this,
Yeah.
this is in the finest group of planning commissioners, no disrespect to the other planning commissioners that we've served with over years and years. But this has been the finest combination, including Commissioner Cronin, and we don't come to consensus, but our debates, our deliberations are always thoughtful and respectful. And what we have sent to you has been fully vetted. The community members that come before us know that we hear them. I know personally, they call me prior to and after meetings to get information. They feel like they can come to us, and that is something that I'm very, very proud of. With that said, the disappointment was in this past couple of years, the breakdown once it leaves us. And without going into certain topics, the high points have been Councilmember Peter Shagan being the liaison between, certainly staff has been very forthcoming with information when we've kicked it back to them. But what I am staying on this commission for at this point is simply to continue to be a voice for people that feel like they need someone that they can talk to. And in all honesty, sometimes it is not members of the council. So that is me. Those are my comments. I look forward to serving with this group and with an addition of someone that joins us. I look forward to working with you as we work for the greater good. And I would just hope that moving forward, there is more dialogue between all of us and that you take into consideration the due diligence of what we have handed to you. So I'll leave those comments and I can be fired at any time.
We'll go ahead and keep you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners have any comments? All right, I guess I'll close as the outgoing commissioner president. It's been an honor to work this year as and be a member of this commission. It's great. These people, as Janice just said, outstanding. We don't always agree, and that's what's great about it. Just like you guys don't always agree. This process can be painful, but at the same time, it's we all grow from it, and we grow as a community. And it's great to work with all of them. Work with you all. I will say, I guess I'll jump on to there's a couple of things. Obviously, when it comes to I guess the one thing I guess would be a negative for me would have been the short-term rental committee you all created. I personally was not a fan as a planning commissioner. I thought that should have been sent back to us instead of creating another citizen committee. I know you all do. You have different pressures than we do. You're elected office. You have a budget. You have personnel. You have different pressures and different things to worry about than we do. I understand it. I've been on both now sides of the aisle. But I do think that you should lean on us. If there is an issue that needs to come back to us after we've gotten the input from you and the people, then let's take it back up again. I know I'll just say it because it's now the second time, because we also did that with the multifamily around the lake. So it's kind of a sticking point with me at this point. So I prefer that you all, if in all honesty, just come back to us if there's a planning or zoning issue that you didn't think we got right, or you not got right, but that you think needs to be redone. Bring it back to us and we can always go back at it again instead of an ad hoc committee that essentially is just not us. So other than that, but other than that, it's been great working with you all. You all do a great job. Every one of you do. The staff that Russ has, seeing Dave Levitan leave is very disappointing. He's done a great job, and their entire staff is always ready for us and always answers our questions, and it's been an honor. Indeed, definitely an honor. And look forward to doing it, continuing our service to you all and this entire committee and being there for you all. Thank you so much.
I'd just like to say thank you, since I attended your planning commission meetings regularly, seeing your bright shiny faces on every occasion. But the question I have, Linda, how many years have you been on the planning commission? Too many to count.
I think I started in 95 or 96. Oh my goodness.
Long time.
Yeah.
If you have to say that in years, and it's just either one.
I wouldn't say it in years, it's just a lot.
I think it was 96, so then this would be my, if it was 1996.
Carry the one.
2023, this would be year 27.
Congratulations, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And the thing is that I've got all that history, right? And so if something comes up, I can kind of throw in, guys, 10 years ago, blah, 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 or 15 years ago, blah, blah, blah. This is why it's da, da, da. So I'm happy to help.
Yeah, appreciate your service.
That's why it's invaluable having all these people. Everybody's got a different level of how long they've been here and experiences, and it's a great, that's what makes it a great dynamic, really, it does.
I just want to throw my 2 cents. I talked to John Cronin today and thanked him personally for his service to the planning commission. He did outstanding work. I served with him both as a commissioner and now on the council, and I've always appreciated his thoughtfulness and just the way he communicated, even when we had different opinions. And I do concur with Commissioner Davis and Welch that spoke on the Hartford industrial area. Grateful that will be given, hopefully given significant priority. And I have a high level of confidence that we're going to come up with a good product that's going to ultimately benefit all of our citizens here in Lake Stevens. So thank you.
One of the things, Commissioner Davis, that I'd like to add has to do with the location of the what was formerly planned as the Civic Center. When that came to us, we were unanimous in our disapproval of the sale of the property. Lake Stevens property has grown in value exponentially. The city, I don't know in the short term or the long term, is going to be in position to purchase land for public benefit. There was serious concern about the city selling public land for private development. That was conveyed to us by residents, several residents. Nobody came out in favor of the sale. It was unanimous from residents as well to keep that in the public hands. That recommendation was sent on, and again, what Commissioner Welch said as well. You guys have different pressures or different things that are going on your end versus ours. But I am a firm believer that public lands, especially in a city like Lake Stevens, we've had very little, very few public lands. It's our duty to retain those. This is not a direct democracy. Having residents of Lake Stevens fill out survey after survey with the similar response that they want more parks, they want more, walking and accessible neighborhoods, and then to not do anything necessarily with that survey info is like, I teach direct versus representative democracy to my students. We have a representative democracy. So getting that direct input from residents and, in my opinion, not taking that to heart was really frustrating. What was proposed and the amount of time the city put in the effort into conveying the promise of that civic center. And then not only is it not, is that not followed through on, but for it to be sold for to private development, really concerning. And yeah, we just hope that we can have, more, dialogue around it, and that, just some of the concerns that are voiced by the commission is resonates a bit more with the council.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? With that, I'll turn it back over to the president. I'm sorry, President, sorry.
Thank you.
I already forgot.
That's okay. Any more comments or questions for the council?
I'll just point out that this work program will come back to the council as a consent agenda item in your next packet, just for sake of process.
Thank you. I want to echo what other council members have said. We do find your work and your dedication invaluable. And while we might not always agree, we greatly appreciate the time you spend doing this work and the work that you do to provide us the information that we need. So thank you all very much for your service. It's much appreciated.
Thank you, Council President.
Okay, and I would throw out there that the council, now's the time if you wanted to add or subtract anything from that work plan before next week. It's on the calendar. Is there anything?
I don't know where it is in the packet, but in reviewing the packet, 20th Street, one of the biggest challenges we have is economic development, and I know 20th Street, there's significant challenges there. So we have greater, as you guys know, we're spending almost $3 million more than we're taking in 2023. And so we need to close that gap, and economic development is one way for us to do that. And so 20th Street and Hartford represent essentially the only two remaining significant pieces of property in the city to make that happen, unless we're considering a redevelopment. I would like to see 20th Street, and I know Russ is already working on that. I don't know to what extent work's being done, what work the planning commission can do, but I think that's a similar dynamic as we have with the Hartford area. And so I don't know how close we are as far as making, I think 20th Street is closer to getting us to where we need to be than the Hartford area is as far as infrastructure. But I'd love to see that very high on the priority list.
Well, I would say, we're still in Joy, right?
You bet.
Okay. I would say now getting Costco, I mean, the whole plan for 20th Street Southeast, when we rezoned it, made it its own little area, was to look for that anchor store. And Costco is that big anchor store we're looking for. Now the trick is what kind of development will now happen because Costco is there. We already got now the auto dealership that located. So I guess we'll see who starts bundling properties, who else wants to come in the area. I don't know. I guess I don't know after now the pandemic, how much retail or what type of stores are going to start developing on the ground anymore. I guess that'll be what the economy figures out. But I'm hoping that with that corridor that we'll start to see some kind of development with that area. I think that's the hope for everybody here. And I think it's a little bit early right now to know what that impact's going to be because Costco just opened. And I don't know who else is reaching out and other things. So hopefully somebody will want to come in that area as that area has grown now. An opportunity is growing.
As to your comment on the infrastructure, would be separate from the work program of the planning commission, but it's definitely a priority for us that we've already started. Continue that conversation with the city of Everett and should have something to provide to the council, hopefully first quarter of this year on that interlocal agreement. And then that would lead us to a 3-party agreement with the city of Everett, Snohomish PUD, and ourselves to do some infrastructure construction as it relates to the water line. So that really remains our biggest impediment and is a priority for the team next year.
Thank you.
Anything else from the council? Okay, seeing nothing. Thank you very much to the planning commission. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Let's move to discussion item 10B, planning and community development 22 year-end report from Russ.
You need us?
You can excuse if you wish, hang out if you wish.
But you're welcome to stay and hear about all the wonderful things we accomplished last year.
I've sat through that enough. I know I'm good.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Todd.
Somebody first got a scarf here. Janice? Yes. You have a scarf?
It's always the accessories.
It's pretty cute. I might.
All right, Russ, you have the floor.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you again, council, mayor. As we do every year, just like to give city council a briefing of all of the activities that we've been involved with over the course of the last year. So this is just a summary of permit data, shows you what we've done in comparison to the prior years, the types of permits we're seeing, and the training that our team is getting, and just all sorts of other factual information. So I won't go over all of the details, but if you have any questions or want me to elaborate on any of the points from this report, feel free.
Oh, Russ, I really appreciate how it's laid out and just how it represents the work that's been accomplished this year. So I appreciate the effort that's been put in there, and it also represents your team as well. It's not just, it's what your team's accomplished. And I think it's significant.
Thank you.
I'll say that too, Russ. Great job. Lots of work, lots of different difficult things to work through. The whole planning, all the stuff we've got going on with all the other agencies and our corridors and so forth. Great job, and hope we have a great 2023 and got a great staff.
Thank you.
It's amazing to see all of this in one place. So I appreciate the report. I'm also a little bit, every time I look at it, I'm a little more overwhelmed, not less overwhelmed by the amount of work that you and your team complete. I think what isn't in the report though is the continued positive feedback we hear about you and your team, and how responsive that you are, how well that you're able to meet the needs of community members, planning commission, fellow council members. That's not in the report, and it should be. I think that you guys do an exceptional job, not just with completing tasks, but for being the people that you are. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to work with you.
Hey, Russ, what's the typical turnaround for a building permit in the city of Lake Stevens?
I like to answer that question in terms of review time, because the actual time to issue permit has a lot of variables, but the first review cycle is 4 to 6 weeks. And then the subsequent reviews depend on how quickly our applicant can turn the material back around to us.
But a typical from application to issuance permit is probably what, 2 to 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, for a single family home that's complete a plat development, those are going to get turned around usually in that first review cycle. Mom and pop, yeah, it's probably going to be 2-3 months. Larger projects, complex projects can be a lot longer.
Okay, pat yourself on the back. City of Seattle's 12 months, Kirkland's 12 to 16 months. We talk about affordable housing. We're doing our best here. They're not doing their best down south. So we should be proud of that fact. We're efficient in our operations. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I will add, you did hear this from the planning commissioners, but Dave Levitan is moving on. He's going down to the city of Edmonds. It's with a heavy heart that he's moving on, but that's his home. And it's an opportunity to buy back a couple of hours of his life every day. So wish him a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Didn't we like moved his family here or something? Wasn't there, did we
I
think outside
tried,
the box?
Angie, I tried.
sometimes? Okay.
Possessions sound
Right.
pretty close, so.
Right,
You
thank
get a
you.
building permit about that.
Well,
Yeah.
Any other comments? I'd just like to point out, I think a big part of the work that you're seeing is under some new efficiencies since we've started the Lean Six Sigma training within the city 2 years ago, I think we're at over 30 folks within the city have gone through our Greenbelt training, and many of those are within Russ's department. And so what you're seeing now is the fruits of that training and that labor to make sure that our permit process is more streamlined and finding out where we can find better efficiencies so we can get those turned around faster. So I applaud Russ's group on really running with that philosophy and bettering their departments. All right. Thank you very much, Russ. Let's move forward to the last item on the agenda, which is council board and commission liaisons.
You may need a paper copy to write on. I've got a few extras. Yeah.
And I think council president, you can run this portion of the meeting.
Excellent, thank you. So my recollection is that we generally start at the top, look at who has been the liaison in the past year. And listen to folks who might want to continue in their role, or other folks who might want to step into a role. So if that is agreeable to the council, I think we'll just jump in.
Council President Jarstad, can I make one note at the bottom? Because this was the list that I printed out at the beginning of 2022, when we talked about a school district board rep. And so you'll see the note down here, but I think we should address that tonight, because right now that's, I think, yourself and Councilmember Dickinson.
I'll add that to the list.
Okay,
We'll just add that as the last.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Alliance for Housing Affordability, Affordable Housing Alliance, pardon me.
I would happily step aside. I think that committee is a total waste of time. It's a total waste of money. We spent about $4,300. It's not a lot, but it's $4,300. I don't know. Nobody's been able to tell me what they actually accomplished. I'm all ears. But
Are those funds that we have to put into that? Or-
oh, every city contributes based on their population, but the Everett Housing Authority probably. Oh, they probably front 75%, I think, of the budget for that person. And Russ, maybe you can help me as far as valuable information at the end of the day. What do we get from the Affordable Housing Alliance, other than a bunch of statistics that are readily available through the realtors, through master builders, through other probably the Economic Alliance? We all know we have a housing affordability issue here. And it just seems like there's no solutions offered through this group. It's just statistics.
Tackle Councilmember Tadj's question first. We participate through an interlocal agreement, so it is at the council's pleasure to continue to be part of that greater board, and that's where our dues are levied from that participating body. As far as the data they produce, you are correct, Councilmember Peter Shagan, that it's mostly statistical data. They do work with some other housing groups, but their role has been just to provide demographic data at this point.
Russ, I'm curious, I know that we have applied for and received a couple of grants related to the development of the housing plan. And then a couple of years ago, it seems like we also had a grant to look at our kind of overall, was the
infill housing.
Yeah, is being a part of that, did that help us in any way, or did we learn about it through belonging to that group?
No, those were statewide grants, and that's where that came from, through the Department of Commerce. We went about it a little bit backwards. We did the code work first instead of the housing action plan, but we wanted to get that supply available quicker. So I think that's why we chose that. But no, the two don't really have a correlation.
So if he doesn't want to do it, I mean, if someone wants to step in, I mean, you're the alternate. I mean, are you willing to be the primary?
Well, I have a proposal. I mean, I'd be willing to be the primary, but I agree. I think that we need to we need to understand why we're spending money for this. So my proposal would be to take on the lead, but to have the executive present at a council meeting within the first quarter to help us understand why it makes sense for us to continue to be a part of this group. And I would say that after that, after he's able to come and share that information with us, if we as a group decide that that isn't worthwhile, then I think we should discuss whether we want to end that agreement.
I like that idea. I'd love to have him come in and share information with us.
I think that's great. I think that's a great idea.
Well, my question about that though is to the staff. Do you see any benefit from being involved with this group? Have they helped your job in any way?
It's still a very new group to the county. Its inception's only maybe 5-6 years old. So I don't think that there has been a large benefit yet. The first year or two, when they did the initial demographic analysis, that was helpful. But I don't find a lot of value when I attend those meetings
Can I
to
ask
do my job.
that question a little bit differently? Do you see any negative repercussions if we're not at the table? Or is it too?
I don't think I could answer that question right now.
Okay.
Probably have to think about it, but I can definitely invite Chris Collier.
Yeah.
To attend a council meeting and to give a briefing. It's been several years since that board's been in front of the council, so I think that would be timely.
I think that would be helpful. All of us. Would be. Okay, so I'm happy to be liaison for that group. Is there anyone who would be interested in doing it? Okay, I feel fairly confident I can make all of those meetings. I don't worry about there not being an alternate for that, so I'm happy to move on. That makes sense. Moving on to Chamber of Commerce Board. Currently, we have Councilman Tangent as the liaison and Councilwoman Dickinson as the alternate. You want to make a
I don't
change?
want to say. It's decided.
Say you don't want to stay or you don't.
I'll stay.
That's great.
And I'm willing to stay as the alternate. I need to get to those meetings.
Any further discussion? Input? Okay, keep that as is. Thank you. Community Transit, we have a council member Daughtry as the liaison with no alternate.
Kim, aren't you in the board on?
Yeah, so I've been on the board, actively on the board for over 10 years on community transit. I did have a 2-year hiatus when we decided to try and change that person, and that didn't work out because we lost our seat. I'm right now acting as a past president. I was president last year. I'm also on a committee that is looking at Everett Transit coming underneath the community transit banner. I'm on that committee as on the executive team. And I mean, we can certainly change that person, but we would lose the seat again. That's just the way it is. Yeah, I want to stay on. I've been working really hard with the community transit. I want to stay on there. I would be on there no matter what for the next year. The year after that, in February, they have their board reconstitution meeting. What that means is that everybody sends a representative to community transit for the meeting, and we go by the same thing, small, medium, and large cities. And the peers in those, like all the medium cities for us, we get together and elect who's going to be on the board and who's going to be the alternates. We have 2 board members for medium and 2 alternates for medium. Actually, it's 3 board members for medium and 2 alternates for medium. That's what it is. So it's kind of like, who gets kicked off the island and who doesn't.
So in this next year, you're going to have the micro transit and you're going to have a 8-story park and ride there by Target. You're going to help.
I didn't know about the 8-story park and ride, but okay. We are working on microtransit. I'm hoping I will be involved in that here locally, microtransit Lake Stevens. It's already underway over in Everett, around the mall. And the other 2 organizations will be doing that would be Arlington, no, not Arlington. Linwood's already got it.
Arlington.
Yeah, Darlington and Darrington.
Oh, interesting. Isn't it?
So I'll be working on that also, but that's, just because we need to get a lot of representation, like Stevens, find out what that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
So senior center and those kinds of things.
Councilman Daughtry, you don't have an alternate currently.
No, there is
that-
no alternates for that.
Okay.
The alternate is from another city.
Okay.
So we have two.
Great. I am also very supportive and would love for you to continue. Thank you for being willing to. do so.
I mean, the other thing is that those meetings are open just like these meetings, and that board is a federated board. It's all elected officials from the different cities. It goes by different rules, based
Any other
on,
Position.
yeah.
Yeah, no one,
No, I'm just talking about,
No
I'm
big-
just telling you, you can go, it is a federated
But you can
board.
go.
All elected officials from Snohomish County, so, or from the PTBA.
Great, thank you. Department of Emergency Management. We have a council liaison position that is open, given that Councilman Frederick's no longer here. Is that something that anybody feels passionate about, is excited about, interested in?
So what I can say about that, given that Councilmember Frederick at that spot, I'm open to the possibility. I just want to make it clear, I have no background in emergency management. I'm happy to learn though. And then also being that it's in the middle of the day, I'd want the support of the alternate with me being in that position, just because with, my day job, I have no idea what will happen on some of those days. So
Sure.
given that, I'm happy to take that on unless somebody else feels strongly about it.
So, so that was something that Sean would attend anyway, because of his day job. It's something I attend, so if you want me to be the city liaison on that, I'm more than willing to. I'm here at 1 PM on most days. So I'm willing to do that. If that's good with the council.
Could we, could it be a shared, is it something that?
Yeah.
That both you and Councilman Donahue could attend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all online. It's not
It's a virtual.
That helps.
That helps me able to make it during the day.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I'm happy to stay on as an alternate if that makes sense. Happy to attend. those meetings.
So you want to put Brett and Ryan as a primary and then,
And then Mayor Daly, how long do those meetings usually run? Just roughly?
just depends on the agenda. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes less.
Depends on if we're in the middle of a global pandemic or.
Yeah, those will sometimes swing it longer.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Economic Alliance, there's no date or time or location listed. I was
There's all kinds of
curious.
different meetings that go on. They have coffee meetings, they have other stuff, but they have an events calendar. So
Okay.
And the board is not available for us to be on, so.
And the main thing is that with that is just having two council members who are kind of the presence for our city
Okay,
at events is what we're looking for.
so currently, Councilman Tagent and Councilman Daughtry. Is that something?
I'll stay.
Yeah,
you want to
I'm on a
continue?
couple of committees with them anyway, so.
Any other comment, questions from the rest of the council? Okay, great, moving on. Fire District number 7. Council City Liaison is Councilman Ewing. The alternate was Councilman Frederick. So curious, Steve, if you want to continue in that role?
that often conflicts with the Youth Advisory Council.
Hmm.
That night, and they fluctuate between 5:30 meetings and 7 o'clock, and so I think I would prefer that someone else do that, because I don't know that schedule wise, that would be, essentially be double booked frequently. And so I don't want to be in that position.
You said that conflicts with the Youth Advisory Council?
Yeah, which almost exclusively meets on Thursday evenings, between 5 and 7.
You meet on a regular basis, the second and fourth Thursday, is that
That's a fairly standard.
yeah.
Is it in person or virtual?
It's in person.
Monroe,
Monroe.
Monroe.
Yikes.
I would have the same issue.
So I guess since it's been brought up, I had intended to volunteer for the Youth Advisory Council since I think I'm the youngest member on the council, so I guess I would maybe have the same conflict.
Steve, can you talk a little bit about what the content is and what our sort of our role is in those meetings?
Well, the reason I mentioned the conflict is I give Youth Advisory Council priority over that. And so, I could comment on that.
So that meeting is gonna be, and I think we should actually change the name of it to Snohomish Regional Fire
Yeah.
District, right? That meeting is gonna be their governing body, obviously, and they're gonna be talking about, what they might be running in the next levy on, what their priorities as far as building their buildings. So that's the kind of information that's gonna be had at those, at that meeting.
And are there other cities, because it's the regional fire, are there other cities present as well? That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to appoint a liaison, we can get information, so it's not something that we have to appoint if it doesn't meet our schedule.
So we can always monitor the minutes from it
Right.
and meet with Kevin.
I volunteer to meet with Kevin on a regular basis and just get updates and share that with the council, if that would work.
Let me know, I'll sit on this too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe
I
put.
don't want to be tied to that meeting.
Yeah, the meeting schedule is a little heavy, so maybe I can be primary and Marcus can be alternate and like just make a little footnote that we'll touch base with. Chief O'Brien on a regular basis. Okay. All right, Health District Board. So we don't, I mean, as an executive committee member, I intend to, and I'm happy to continue that work. I think it's gonna be just another couple of months. And I don't know that there's a way to make a change, honestly, because there's no more health district to.
I think it's great that you continue doing that, as the transition. I think it's great.
What about attending their meetings, just to give us an idea of what's happening? Are they gonna have open public meetings?
I'm sure they're gonna be open meetings. I'll definitely look into it and bring that information back and. Yeah, I would really love to attend the meetings, honestly, so if they're open and available, I'm happy to continue doing.
I don't know if it reaches a level of being a liaison, but at the
it's-
same time, I'd hate to give up not knowing what's going on in Health District, and you've been pretty good at telling us what's happening.
Yeah, let me look into that and I'll bring information back to the council. Okay.
Just on a side note,
Mhm.
so we continue to pay into the Snohomish Health District. Did we take that out of the?
We
budget?
didn't, we stopped doing that in 2022,
Yeah, we wait.
the per diem. The per diem ended.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
That's right.
at the
Okay.
20th, the end of 2022.
I wouldn't have voted it through even. They have plenty of funding.
That year.
Moving on to the Historical Society.
Councilmember Georgetown, can I just mention that I know some of these locations are out of date. Obviously, this needs to get updated with the mill and some other places. So we'll do that before we get it back out again.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for catching that.
Yeah.
Historical Society has Councilman Dickinson as the primary and Councilman Peter Sagan as the alternate.
Right. I would love to stay in as the alternate and pass forward if Councilmember Peters Hagan is okay with that. Put him in the place of the primary.
Yes, that's.
I think he's been amazing and kept me awake at all times with what's going on in the museum. So, and thank you for talking about them today. I should have mentioned that too.
Also, that meeting schedule has changed. I think it's the first Wednesday of every month at
Right.
either 10 or tomorrow's 11 o'clock. I thought it was going to be 10.
I have, yeah, let me see here.
Yeah.
Yes, at the time.
You said it's the first Wednesday now?
Well, tomorrow's the first Wednesday of the month, and that's when it's scheduled. So
Oh, okay, got it.
So-
I didn't understand that part.
Thank you. So Councilman Peter Sagan is the primary and Councilman Dickinson is the alternate.
Councilmember Peter Sagan, where is the location for that?
over
Oh,
at the,
At the former firehouse.
yeah,
Okay.
where they're at.
Thank you. Moving on to the library board. We have Councilwoman Dickinson as primary and Councilman Ewing as alternate.
I would love to remain in that position.
I'm fine, stand on. Although Mary promised a 40,000 square foot library by the end of the year, so we'll hold her to that.
I did.
Great work.
Thank you.
Everyone's excited.
Does that work for everyone?
Yep.
Okay, great. Park board, we have Councilman Tagent as the primary, Councilwoman Dickinson as the alternate.
I'm fine with staying. Passionate about that.
And
Some
I
people get
was
more
fine
like a
as well.
Let's put one in the mill here.
Yeah, put it in the medium.
I'm good as well. So.
All right, any other comments? Okay, moving on, planning commission. Councilman Peter Sagan as the primary. I lost my place, sorry about that. Councilman Ewing as the alternate. Is that something that you want to continue doing?
I don't know if somebody else wants to jump in. It's fine.
Nobody's expressing interest, so I guess the default is what it is.
Not too many
I'm fine
places.
as an alternate. I mean, Gary, every meeting I attend, Gary's there, so I mean, it's.
But I was just thinking it might be a good teeth cut for Ryan.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest it to him, actually.
Ryan, are you open to that?
So, yeah, I can do that.
So is that something you'd be willing to do as a primary, or is that something you?
I mean, I guess I don't know enough about what, the differences between the primary and alternate other than. mandatory
Primary is one that
attendance.
it's expected to attend every meeting, and alternate usually attends when they can, but like I attend every meeting, I can't even as an alternate.
It's
Just,
passive observation, reporting back.
yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
You actually don't participate in the meeting, you just observe.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
if There's a vote, you don't participate.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine being the primary on that.
that meeting's at 6 PM.
Okay.
Yes.
6 p.m. Okay.
So
So,
let me make sure I'm clear. So Ryan, are you Councilman? Sorry.
That's. That's okay.
Are you offering to be the primary or the alternate?
I'm fine being the primary. Yeah. Unless somebody else wants it.
Okay, and then who's interested in being the alternate for that?
I'll step forward.
So Councilman Donahue is the primary and Peter Sagan is the alternate. Moving on to the Veterans Commission.
I'll take the primary for Councilmember Frederick.
Thank you, Kim. Do we have an alternate?
I think. You do the alternate.
There's not an alternate. I mean, two of us are already on the Veterans Commission, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Councilman Daughtry for the primary and Councilman Tagent for the alternate. Retreat Committee, is that?
That's you.
Ben?
That's you.
That's you.
I'm
you got
me
it,
and
girl.
Gary for the Retreat Committee. Excellent.
And we'll talk tomorrow.
Excellent. Looking forward. to that. Council appointees to board and commission interview panel. Thank you to Councilman Daughtry Ewing for doing that all year. I don't think I was ever needed as an alternate. Do you want to continue? Are you interested? in-
I'd like to
Yeah,
continue.
I'd like to continue.
Okay. Any comments from the council? That works. Okay, I'm happy to be the alternate if needed for that. Skip, Snohomish County Committee for Improved Transportation. Shocker, we have Councilman Daughtry as the primary for that and Councilman Peter Sagan for the,
Yeah, I'd like to continue as that.
I think that makes sense. Councilman Peter Sagan, do you want to continue? as a-
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Senior Board, Councilwoman Dickinson is primary, Councilman Daughtry is the
Right,
alternate.
and I will continue.
Yeah, I've never been called to be an alternate, so that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks, I never had to go.
So Kim, you have to be a 7 year older to
No, they actually are trying to get me to join, so.
the ARV point.
Somebody said I was older than most of them there. It's like, what the hell is that?
And Mary, you said you do want to continue.
Yes,
in that role?
oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. Sewer Utility Subcommittee, we have Councilmember Tadgett, Councilmember Peter Sagan, Mayor Gailey listed. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to do it. I think Ryan, and I don't want to like volunteer you, but I am anyway. I think with what we've been navigating, with that, I think just a fresh perspective, I think might help us with our dialogue, and communicating, with the sewer commissioners and the sewer folks. And I think that there's just a fresh perspective. And I think with your background, I think while you may not have any technical expertise in, sewer stuff, I think as far as navigating that, I think you'd be a quick study on that.
You guys don't read about that in your spare time?
I do actually. So, and I also appreciate the work that Gary's been doing as far as trying to work with that. So, but I also recognize that Marcus has done, excellent work as well. But for me, I think I'd like to see Ryan and Gary push that forward and see if we can't get some additional traction with the sewer district.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to whatever the council wants.
I'm fine with it.
You're scaring me now.
You know what it is, what it is.
Yeah.
Easier to work.
Okay.
So Councilman Peter Sagan, Councilman Donahue, and Mayor Gailey. Yes. Okay. Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee. We have Mayor and Jean as primaries, and then I guess I and Gary would be backup.
Sure.
Is that?
Enjoy with me.
Okay. I'm excited to learn more.
No. Once you learn it, let me know,
Okay.
because it's brutal.
What is what's the nutshell elevator speech description?
No UGA expansion.
No DUTA does
Okay.
in a blender. I'll tell you what the nutshell answers on that. The recommendations done by Collier, Affordable Housing Alliance, of create more supply is ignored by the SCT.
Oh, interesting. Who's the host of Snohomish County Tomorrow? Like who?
I'm on the board. I'm on the executive board.
Oh,
It's basically Snohomish County.
okay.
They run it.
But it's all dictated by PSRC and it's all dictated by county staff.
Seattle. Predominantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So whatever.
So-
Seattle wants, Seattle
So
wants.
whenever it gets to SCT, it's already canned. Locked and loaded, ready to press trigger.
All right.
There's not a lot of decision making. Although the meetings are really long.
So why do you meet? I mean, seriously, why
It-
do you meet?
It's a great question, Gary. I don't know why we meet.
Because the Puget Sound Regional Council, correct me if I'm wrong, Russ, has basically taken over the planning for the Tri-County area, correct?
Yes.
So why do we bother?
It's a great question.
There was talk of us trying to do an alliance for the north. and
Right.
Snohomish County going with Skagit and Whatcom and the island counties and so. There was talk of trying to break free of that and working something out there. I don't think it gained enough momentum, and I think people are scared to do so.
Yeah, the risk with that is then how do you get federally recognized like PSRC does, where the funding comes from?
Yeah, all our transportation dollars from the feds come through PSRC.
Right.
But
So-
we're not getting the transportation dollars that help us.
Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, we are getting them. We can get them just as easily as anybody can, because mostly it's 86% of the transportation money that comes from PSRC is comes to formula for different things. And then there's others that come through, not even the FTA, but others that come through that we can get in and compete for.
As long as we're meeting their requirements, which is concentrated.
Well, no, yeah. Still gets us some road some road money and stuff like that. But that's where it comes from. If we break away and do that, we're not even in the running for any federal dollars at that point because they have control over all that.
So I guess to answer your question, Gary, why do we participate in it? We participate in it because we are on track with the requirements of PSRC, and therefore we have our hand out for the money that's available. And we do so by attending those meetings.
Thank you for that brief description. I appreciate it.
Enjoy the meeting.
I look forward to attending.
I usually run.
Oh, yeah,
I try to run as fast as I can.
excellent. Youth Advisory Council, currently, Congressman, Council President, gosh, sorry, Steve and Kim are currently on it. Sean is no longer here, so there is an opening.
I am very interested in that position. What I've heard of the Youth Advisory Council just really, as a retired school teacher, it just lit me up. I just think it sounds like a wonderful organization, and I would really love to support it and get to know better what's going on there. Just saying.
So the Youth Advisory Council, the way that we operate the Youth Advisory Council is they're an autonomous council. And we are advisors when they ask us questions, and we do not lead them.
Right.
We only give them advice when they ask.
Gotcha.
So that's what it's for. They're doing great work. They're actually up and running again, hot and heavy, starting tomorrow, or starting Thursday night. Here at 7 o'clock. So yeah, that's basically what it is. It was started by Steve and Sean and I with some very bright students, and they were doing some good stuff. So there's some big things in the works that the council will be involved in, hopefully, and we'll see where that goes.
Are there regular meetings?
Yeah, it's usually every Thursday night. I think they're doing every other Thursday night now, aren't they?
Yeah, the new leadership is moved to twice a month from weekly. And so, yeah, it's, yeah, I mean, Mary, you're, if you'd like to be, part of it, I mean, it's not like it's not part of the city thing, but we, provide that input. And, we already, I like the idea of Ryan's perspective. I think part of one of the things that I liked about Ryan's value is just representing a different demographic, that's not really being heard. And, because they kind of see us as being, Kim and I being geriatric, which, Kim more so than me, but having a different perspective, and Mary, your perspective would be, as a former teacher, would be invaluable. And so, I mean, there's no harm in having, 4 people there if you wanted to come.
No, it actually would be.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd have a quorum.
You can't have 4 people. Okay, Ryan, you win. It's okay. I'm not-
Ryan didn't even say he wanted it. Steve.
I was just gonna say the same thing, like.
It's like, what?
So I guess I'm gonna lean heavily on you guys here, and I want to make sure I'm not overloading, because I think that would make 4 scheduling wise, so I want to make sure that, yeah, I'm not spreading myself too thin.
I guess I also wanted like lean on you a little bit too. That's,
Yeah.
that's taking a big bite, so.
Lots of meetings to attend. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
don't schedule yourself too thin. There's a lot of study materials.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess, do the 3 people go to every meeting, or do you kind of rotate through, or how does that generally work?
I attend every meeting that I'm available.
I attend every meeting.
Or sorry for the. youth
Actually, I
advisory.
don't attend every meeting. I have to see. Now I will be able to, because the 4th Thursday, I have an Aquafest meeting, so I've had to.
Honestly, I agree with what Marcus said. I mean, really, you take the utility committee and the planning commission, probably the 2 heaviest lifts. I think that'd be a heavy lift if you added that one. I mean, even though there's not a lot of work, I mean, it's still an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
Usually you just sit here and watch. And it's kind of fun.
But yeah, I mean, I think I would step down, and add, if that was something, to allow, a 3rd person. But I think either you or Mary would add just a really unique perspective. I like the fact that Mary represents something, as a woman, being a grandmother, I mean, you have a perspective that, and a former teacher that none of us have. But I think that they would respond well, because majority of the people on the council are women. The advisory council is like 75% women, so, you know, you could provide a connection there that Kim and I can't offer.
That's really up to you, Ryan.
Well, so I mean, in the past, when we've had two interested parties, we've also, it's gone to a vote, so I don't know that.
I mean, I guess for me, it's where do you guys think I would be of more benefit, on the planning commission or the youth advisory council? 'Cause
Planning commission.
Okay, then go ahead and do the youth.
I win.
Yeah.
Okay,
So Mary, you're capped at 10 though, right?
yeah, I've got quite a few things there.
So Councilwoman Dickinson will replace Councilman Frederick on the Youth Advisory Council, and Councilman Ewing and Daughtry will continue. All right, Military Affairs Committee.
Military Affairs Committee fell on their sword last year, and we had one meeting that was not well attended, and then they started canceling meetings. And the reason for that really was that the EASC lost their person that was leading the Military Affairs Committee, and they were trying desperately to find somebody else to lead that. I believe that they're going to actually start back up again, because I'm getting some emails again, but we haven't met in quite a while.
What's the difference between military affairs and the veterans?
The Military Affairs Committee is a committee put together by EASC that brings together all kinds of people from Snohomish County, especially the base and business operations that support the base. And what they're mostly involved in is looking at ways of not getting Everett base taken away from us. So it's all, you know, and there's a lot of stuff with Boeing also, with the military side of Boeing. But like I said, we haven't met, and there hasn't been actually been any talk about getting rid of base lately, because it's only the second people are based.
They weren't talking about BRAC anymore. They was on the BRAC list for a while.
Yeah, we were on the BRAC list for a while, but they're not.
It came off the BRAC list because of our Deepwater Port.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's not meeting, because it's not concerning.
So the only other thing that they talk about sometimes is, you know, how to help people transition out of the military and get to some of the businesses here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's not really deep. You know, it hasn't been actually in operation for 3 years.
So Councilman Daughtry and Tadgett and Mayor Gately are currently listed as primaries. Does it make sense to just keep the three of you there, and then if it restarts again?
Can keep my name as a placeholder. We don't ever need. And I'll stay on as a placeholder. The Veterans Commission, usually myself, Sean, and Kim go to that. So as it stands now, Kim, you're just going to, right? Not the three of us anymore.
Yeah, right now.
You're talking about the veterans.
Veterans
Yeah,
Commission.
okay, great, thank you. SCC, Snohomish County Cities, is all of us.
Yeah, I'm on the executive team for that. I'm the treasurer. I would say that we are starting to meet again in person with our dinners. We just had one last month. I think we're every other month now.
Next month, but we just got an email today. Next month is a Terracotta Red, I believe.
Yeah, we have to do our voting for the all of the things that Snohomish County Cities has to backfill, like the health district and all kinds of stuff on PSRC Transportation Policy Board. And all those boards at the PSRC, we have to backfill those from Snohomish County. So that will be taking place at that time. And then they'll also have nominations for the executive team for Snohomish County Cities. So
So it used to be a big thing. We used to all attend, go to dinners. I think that was pre-2020.
Sure.
So, but it used to be like a lot of cities would get there and you'd get a chance to sit and chat with other council members.
it was really well attended last month, and because we had the legislative agenda session and we had legislators there. So they were really well attended.
Maybe it's just taken a while to post-COVID to get back up to.
Yeah, we
on people's radar.
We tried the Zoom thing and that didn't work.
No, imagine.
All right. Association of Washington Cities, National League of Cities, that's all of us. And then Lake Stevens School District Board Meeting Liaison. Currently, Councilwoman Dickinson is primary and I am backup. I'm happy to continue. being back there.
That's great.
I think I would like to be the alternative rather than the primary.
Should we arm wrestle for who the alternative is?
The meetings are really, really long. I love the meetings that are at the schools. But when they go down to their, where we used to have council meetings, you know, that place.
The school district.
That's it, you got it. It just seemed to go on and on. I mean, we're talking 3 hours. Every single time we had a meeting, so, but, you know, I'm happy to be representing us. I'm okay with it. I will not back
Another
out.
subject, are we doing something for the football team at all? They already did a parade.
Yeah, we did a parade.
We did a parade.
Yeah.
Started right by your house. That was sponsored by the school district.
It's actually, Director Garceau ran that with the school district in the city.
It happened really, really fast. Yeah, it was Saturday after their domination. Humiliation.
You win.
Maybe you were gonna have proclamation or something.
We can proclamate.
Like a verb.
That's now verb.
It is.
It's a new verb.
Spanish.
Mary and I will work to maybe split up the school district board meetings, kind of take turns.
Yeah.
Just to,
We'll figure it out.
yeah, balance the time a little. That
We're
works
just
for
both
everyone
down
else.
there. Be the liaison.
I think that's it.
All right.
Any
perfect.
other further comments, questions? I haven't heard a motion.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Any
Second.
second? You got a motion second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Appreciate it. Have a great week and